Hello everyone, and welcome to another one of my videos. My name is Ed Walker, known as Papa Surf, and I will be your host for Surfing the Net Computer Repair. In this video is a tutorial, and it's volume 1, getting around in Windows 10. We're going to go over the taskbar and all the functionalities that it has, and maybe you can pick up a couple of things that's going to make it easier for you to get around in Windows 10. That's our whole objective here. So, a lot to cover, so let's get to it. Alright, in this tutorial we're going to cover the taskbar, which is at the bottom of your screen, goes across. This is referred to as your taskbar. Okay. Before we get started, let's briefly cover on the mouse for those new people who are just getting with Windows 10. The difference between the left and the right mouse button is that the left mouse button you use to open up your programs, which you have some shortcuts of your programs on the desktop. Alright, every one of these shortcuts on your desktop would require a double click, a rapid double click. Now this would be your left. Always opening something would be your left. So for example, if you were going to open up Google Chrome here, you would just rapidly double click and it will open up. Now we're going to go up to the right hand corner and we're going to click on the X to exit out of it. Even in your start menu, any of these is just a one click. Only on your desktop, on your shortcut icons, would be a double click. Everything down here would be a single click, and this is always with your left mouse button. Even if you're in a website, for example, let's click on Google. Now remember, up here is a double click, left click. Down on your taskbar is a single left click. So let's left click on Google. And again, everything here that I go to would take a left click. Even if I have do a search, let's say presidents, for example, everything I go to open, even whether it's the links, and you can tell a link by your arrow will turn into a palm with a pointing index finger, and that just tells you that it's a link that can be opened. I click on that link, there we go. So let's close this up. Go to the top right, left click. Now, the taskbar down here has a lot of functionality, a lot of options on this bar. First thing we want to do is to make sure that your taskbar is not locked. Locking your taskbar keeps it where it is, okay? So it doesn't inadvertently change. You don't have to unlock the taskbar for any of the work with these icons on the taskbar. Alright, let's get started here. Come down anywhere blank on your taskbar, right click, and you'll see that there's a lock taskbar. If it has a check mark, then that means that it is active. Alright, so if I left click on it, and I'll go back to it, and you notice I can't move this, okay? Even with a left click trying to move this. Because you can move things around also with a left click. I can move my folder here, there, by just holding down the left mouse button and dragging. Okay. So we're going to back to the taskbar. We're going to right click, which is our options button. We can just refer to it as an options button. It'll help you remember left and what the left does and the right does. Since we left click, and that was the options, we're going to come back to this lock the taskbar, and it now has a check mark in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to left click on it, and that removes the check mark. So now I can move this. I can get a double line with the mouse cursor, get a double line, and then I can just drag. And then I can have more room for a bunch of other stuff here. However, it takes up a little bit of the real estate here. So I'm going to grab it again and bring it down. But the reason some want to move the taskbar is to customize. For example, let's say you do not want the taskbar on the bottom. Let's say I prefer it to be on the left side of my screen. Just click the left mouse button so they can customize your taskbar wherever you want it. Just simply hold the left mouse button down and then drag the start bar excuse me, to your left. And here is your start button, your taskbar on your right. And all the, for example, your start menu will drop down. You still have your icons here and your clock and so forth. Let's say we want to move this to the top. Again, hold the left mouse button down and drag it to the top. Then it's at the top. And you can still, if you have quite a few items on there, you can still do the drag down here. Okay. And do the drag up. Let's say we want this bar, taskbar, on the left side of the screen. Hold down the left mouse button and drag it over to the left and let go. And now it is on the left side of our screen. So it's very customizable. I'm going to drag again and bring it back to the bottom. Okay. Let's look at some of the other functionalities on this taskbar here. Let's go ahead and right click, which is our options. We're going to go clear the top that says toolbars. Now on the toolbars you have address, links, desktop, and new toolbar. Let's address a couple of these. One that I like is the address bar. We go over here and click on this address bar. It brings an address bar right down to your taskbar. What's good about this is then just left click right inside the address bar and let's type a site. Let's say Google. You don't need the www. We'll just put in google.com. Alright, and then we'll hit enter. How cool is that? There's Google. So let's go over to the right top, left click on the X, get out of that. We don't have to clear this form, we'll just click in it again, it'll highlight it, and let's put in msn.com. And there you go. Let's try one more. Let's top, close it out. Let's put in Walmart, Walmart.com. And there's Walmart. Any site you can put in there. Okay, so we're going to go up to the top left. We're going to left click. And if you notice down here on that on the taskbar where we had put the address bar here, if you see an arrow here to the right, that means whatever this is on, you click on it and it'll take you right there. There's a little drop down arrow right here, and if you click that, it shows our recent sites we went to. Okay, so that makes it convenient. So if I wanted to go to, let's say, back to Yahoo, left click on Yahoo, and there I am. I'll close that out. Now if it shows one site without dropping down to the other sites, I just go over to the right, past the drop down to the arrow pointing to the right. I'll left click on it, and it brings up the one that's showing. How cool is that? So let's go ahead and come down here. We're going to do our options button again. We're going to right click for our options. We're going to go back to toolbar, and we're going to uncheck, because it's checked. We're going to left click on address to remove it from our taskbar. Again, we're going to drop down to our taskbar. We're going to right click for our options. We're going to go up to toolbars, very top. This time, instead of addresses, we're going to drop down to links. We're going to left click on links. Links will then appear down here on your taskbar. Links is all the links that you have. Some could even be your favorites, whatever. For example, if I went to the double arrows right here next to links, and I click on it, this shows the links I use a lot. It actually is in my links in my browser. Okay, so that makes it real quick. I want to go up to my bank, I just click on that and I go to my bank or whatever. I'll go up and left click on the X, and I'm out of that. Now we want to remove the links. We'll go down here to our taskbar. We're going to right click, which is our options. We're going to go back up to toolbars, and we're just going to uncheck the links. It's checked. So click one time on it, and it's gone from our taskbar. Let's go to the taskbar once again and right click. This time up to toolbars, and we're going to go to desktop. All right. Now it's a pretty cool feature. You have desktop, which this is your desktop. All these icons and everything that I have is going to show down here in my start bar now. See where it says desktop? It has a double arrows. I click that to bring it up, and that right there shows all the icons and everything that I have on my desktop. So all these are listed here. Okay, so let's say on this you want to clean your desktop up, and you right click on your desktop, and we'll just go down to where it says view, put your mouse cursor on it, and it'll automatically have another drop down dialog box. And you can always tell if it has another drop down box. It'll have an arrow next to it. See these arrows? That just means that if I highlight it, another drop box will come up. Now, what I want to do now is, while I'm still, the cursor's on view, I'm going to slide over, and then I'm going to drop down to the bottom, and there is a check mark in show desktop icons. I'm just going to left click, and I no longer have desktop icons on my desktop. However, if I go to my desktop that I put on my taskbar, I can click on that. Then I have all these desktop icons that were there are listed in here. Okay, and you see the arrows over here to the far right? That's just telling me if I click on one of them, it also has another dialog box. Okay, so if I wanted to open one of these, for example, say control panel, I just one click, because it's no longer a desktop icon. We got them listed down here in a taskbar. So that's pretty cool. Now anytime you want to bring these desktop icons back, you just right click on your desktop, which is your options button, go back to the view and slide over, come down where it says show desktops, left click, and they're all back. Okay, while we're on the desktop real quick, I'll just show you that if you right click, you go to view, and on view you have other options too. Large, medium, and small icons that are on your desktop. Let's say I want the medium to be small. Click on small, and there they are. All these icons went smaller. I can also right click, which is my options. I can go down to view. I can slide over where the arrow is. And this time, instead of medium, I'm going to go to large icons. Click large icons, and by golly, you'll be able to see those. So I'm just going to right click again, which is options. I'm going to go to view, and then I'm going to go back to medium. Also, you can right click, go back to view, and you can also have your icons auto arrange. They arrange by themselves. So if I left click on auto arrange, they all went over here. The only thing is, if you wanted to spread them out in different groups, you try, they'll go right back. You can't drag them out. So if I just right click on my desktop again, which is option, I go to my view and slide over, and you'll see that arrange auto arrange icons has a check mark, so it's active. So I'm going to left click on it, and now I'll be able to put these icons wherever I want into groups, you know. So that's a nice thing too. But let's get back to the taskbar here. If we right click on the taskbar, which again, like I said, is your options, and we covered pretty much everything here. It was desktop. Let's go ahead and click to uncheck that to remove the desktop. I'm going to right click again on the taskbar, go up to toolbars, and this time I want to go to new folder. So I'm going to click on new folder. What this does, it allows me to take any folder I want, whether it's pictures or whatever, and I can have it on my taskbar. So I can search some of the programs here, go all the way down. I can go look through my C drive. I can put music, my downloads file, my documents file. Let's say I want my let's say I don't think I have videos. Let's say I go and take my pictures. Click on pictures. Then with all these, you can pick a file in here. So I'm just going to say this file. And it's listed in here, 2019-06. So then I'm going to select a folder button. And now, if you come down to the taskbar, you have it listed right here. Now, if I want to go to these double arrows right here, and I left click it, it brings up all those pictures. Okay, got to be careful. I don't want to click on any one of these that I Might be picking my nose or something. So let's say this logo too. Let me go ahead, left click on it. All right, let's go ahead and right click on our taskbar, which is our options. We'll go back up to toolbars, and I'm going to remove that file, which was my pictures. It's got a check mark telling me it's active. I'm just going to left click, and then it's gone. Okay, continuing, we're going to again right click on our taskbar, and we covered everything in tools. Now we're going to go to search. Now in the search, I have show search icon. Okay, and we'll come over here, and this is where my search icon is. So if I click my search icon, it brings a box that I can type in for my search. So let me click again, that disappears. So what we can do is you can right click, go back to search. If you don't want the search, you can also hide it. Let's go over here, and this time let's go show search box. Then this box stays there all the time. By default, you may already have that, but all you have to do is, if you're looking for anything, control panel, or a certain PDF file I have, or whatever I'm going to search within my computer, I can use the search. So I'm going to go to the top right, left click, and I'm going to come back down here to the start bar or task bar, and I'm going to right click again, and I go to search, and this time I don't want the icon. Let's say I just want it hidden. So I click there, and there's no search. Okay. Now I can go ahead and let's right click again, and this time we're going to go to show Cortana button. We're going to left click, and you look on your taskbar, and there it is. It's a circle, and you can talk to Cortana if you want to and get that, and then you can speak different things, and should do that similar to what you do on your cell phone. So let's left click that, back down to my taskbar. I'm going to right click, which is my options, and I see that it has a check mark in there, show Cortana button, and it's showing it's active, and I'm just going to go ahead and left click so it disappears. Now I'm going to go back to the taskbar. I'm going to right click for other options, and this time it says show task view button. So if I click on that, you look at your start taskbar, and there is a new icon, which is your task view. If you left click on it, it will bring up things that you've done earlier. You know, like this is today. This was earlier today, this was yesterday. Just the programs you had up working, you can bring them back. Especially if you forget the name of a file you was working on yesterday. This is very convenient to bring that back. And then we come right back down to our taskbar, and we can just click back on that task view, and it disappears. So I'm going to come back down here, right click for options, and this time I'm going to uncheck this task view button by left click, and we're going to move on. We're going to say come down to the taskbar again. This time we're going to show people on your taskbar, on social media, a quick way to get to email and so forth. You just left click that, and it's going to bring up another icon, and if you left click, then it brings it up. This happens to be my son here, but you can go for people, and you find other people on your contacts and events and all that sort of stuff, and edit it and so forth. So if I want that done, I'm just going to go ahead and right click on my taskbar, and I see the check mark there, and I don't want it active, so I'm going to left click, close that out. Moving right along, we're going to go back, and you guessed it, we're going to right click on the taskbar, which is our options, and this time we're going to go show Windows Ink Workplace button. You left click on that, and that's going to bring this funny looking icon right there. Okay, and once you put your mouse cursor on it, it will come up and tell you. So in case you don't know where the little icon went when you brought it down, and it tells you. So I'm just going to left click on it to open it. And this, I'm really not going to go over. This happens to do with your projector, third-party software that you can use whiteboard, excuse me, on a projector and that sort of thing. I just wanted you to know that it is available in the Windows, so you can plug in all the other third-party apps. Some are free, some you'd have to pay for, that you could go and use your projector. A lot of these are good for schools or functions where they can all be on there and work together on it on a whiteboard. It's the same. Okay, and this full screen snip right here is about the same thing. It brings this up because I had it in the background, so it brought it up. But I can push the left mouse button and just kind of circle things, you know, just whatever, right, mess all things up. Anyway, it's kind of fun. So this is your snip and sketch. All right, you can also save this too when you do different things and bring up another screen. We're going to go ahead and left click on the right on that button up there, and we're going to come down here once again. We're going to right click on the taskbar, and we're going to go and remove that check mark from the ink button now. So I'll left click and it's gone. And we'll once again come back down, right click on the taskbar, and this time we're going to go where it says search touch keyboard button. And if you look down here we have a keyboard, and of course I highlight it and it shows me it's a keyboard, touch keyboard. I'm going to left click on this. I just want to show you that there's some of the functions that are good about this. It is a keyboard for touch screen, you know, if I want to touch on it, but I don't have a touch screen, so it's not going to do any good. But I couldn't see really typing on that. But you know, there's things you can still do with this. For example, let's say you're in a room and the lights are all out and you don't really want to turn lights on, computer lights enough, but it's just not light enough to see the keyboard. Well, you could do this, especially in your email. Let me show you how this works. Let me close this out. Let's say I'm going to go ahead and open an email. All right, here's an email. Now I'm going to go new mail, and now I'm going to bring up my keyboard from down here. I'll left click it, and the cursor, the line right here is already in 2, and I can just click on these letters. I'll say to maybe John, whatever. Then I can click whatever the subject is, and then I can write whatever's here off the keyboard, you know, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, don't know what I wrote, but you get the idea. So I'm going to close this out, come up here and left click to close things. Actually, when you want to close things out, it's always a left mouse button. So if you have a browser open and you click the X in the top corner, it's always a left, because you're not bringing up another option. Okay. So we're going to come down here and right click, and we're just going to take the keyboard off the taskbar because it has a check that it's active. And I'm going to left click and it's gone. Now for this next feature that's on the taskbar, I want to open a few files here. We'll open now the flash drive. We'll open web files, maybe office bills, maybe office forms, maybe a PDF file. I'll open it. Firearms there. I don't want to open that, but trying to get as many of these open that you would normally. So we have several open. If we drop down with all these open, if we drop down here to your taskbar, we right click. These were grayed out when I didn't have anything open, but now that all these are open, I have some choices. Right now you can cascade the windows, which puts them cascade, and I can always have one to the front, to the back. So I want to pull the office bills up forward, I can do that, and then I can close them one at a time, or I can go down here, taskbar, right click. This time I want to show windows side by side. So there they all are, side by side. You don't have to scroll because however many you have open will continue over to the side. And stacked, I believe, is about the same. If you show windows stacked, it'd be this way, instead of side by side. Basically the same, I think. So we can go in here and close each one of them, and that will do it. And you come in here and I can just do all on stacked windows. Then I just close this out just by going to the X and left clicking, and that's done. Alright, go back down to the taskbar, and now we're going to go to the task manager. Okay, if you hit the task manager, especially for the more advanced, this just shows you your programs, what percentage the CPU is using on each program. You go across and it tells you this program's running, it's using this much of memory, and so forth. That's a process. If I come up here to the top tab, it says performance, and I click on that, left click, then I can see what I'm doing on my internet, what the memory is doing, what the CPU is doing, my speed. I can look at app history, my startup. These are all the things that are running in the background, which are all down here next to the clock. That's everything running in the background, even when Windows starts. Okay, user, details, services, that sort of thing. Let's stay out of this. Okay, so we're going to come up here to the right and left click on the X. Alright, now we'll come back down here and we're going to right click on the taskbar, and this time, and even at the end of the video, make sure that you lock your taskbar. I don't think we're going to move it anymore, but you want to lock it. Just click on it, and once there's a check mark, you know it's locked. So let's go down here to the toolbar settings. And enlarge this in the middle. You can enlarge, or you can make it smaller, or you can hit the line up here, and once you hit that, it drops down here to your taskbar for later. If I'm working something, then you can go back down and click on it from the taskbar and it comes up. So now I'm going to go to the middle box and enlarge it. let's say, for example, that you like all those options in the task bar. So let's say, for example, let me stretch this out. You stretch this out a little bit, and you had all this area filled out with all kinds of goodies. Convenient and customize it real well. But when you open a web page or you're doing something on there, your desktop, you have less real estate than you had with this being shrunk down. So it has one up here that you can check, automatically hide the taskbar in desktop mode, because you're in desktop. Stay away from the tablet mode. We'll get into that later, but this automatically hide the desktop mode. If you put this on, watch what happens to the bottom of the screen. I'm going to click in it so it now turns on. My taskbar is gone. Here, see, it's gone. So I close this out, whatever. But if I come down, the moment my mouse cursor gets down at the bottom, it will bring it up automatically. See? Now you see it. Now you don't. Now you see it. Now you don't. And whether you have this on the right side of your screen or the left or the top or the left side of your screen, it will do the same thing. If this here was over here, and bring it back to normal, come up top, we'll close this out. Then we're going to right click on there, and pretty much covers a lot of the options and functionality on your taskbar. These items over here running by your clock, normally that's in your startup, so those will run in the background. You can eliminate them by going to your startup, but for now keep those there. Your time, date, of course this icon over here, it's got a number. It tells you how many notifications you have in here. Okay, and you can close them. You know, so many notifications, just close them up. Oh my God, I had a few on, didn't I? And close them all up. Okay. Now your time, if any time you want it, your time isn't right, or the date, all you have to do is right click on that and just come up here to adjust date and time, left click, and then you can make it Eastern Standard Time or whatever time zone you're in. You can click that and put it in all your time zones or whatever it is. Okay, and you can set time automatically and even your zone automatically. So, okay, and now on our taskbar, we want to go over to the far left corner, and you see when you highlight with your mouse cursor, you have a start. So what we're going to do is this window pane down here. It looks like of course, a Microsoft Windows logo. We're just going to go ahead and left click, and this brings up our menu with all our applications that we have in the system. And then if you notice over to our right, we have these tiles, which were used a lot with a touch screen. Instead of trying to touch these here, you have this large button to touch, designed for touch screen. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how you can put different things down on pinned to the taskbar and remove. And also to add more of these or get rid of them. So let's say we're going to go here, and let's say this blackjack right here, we want to pin this to the start, which is over here for a tile. We can go ahead and right click for our options. Here's one that says pin to start. And these will be your tiles over here. We wouldn't pin it here, it's already here. So we're going to pin it to the start. So let me go ahead and say pin to start, and there it is. Okay. If I want to take the same icon, I can go here and I can go up to the blackjack, right click, and I can also remove this from my start area over here for a tile. I go here and I just say, I just left click, unpin from start, and it's gone. And I'll have the option when I right click, then it says instead of unpin, it'll say pin. Let's say I want this blackjack down here on my taskbar. All I have to do is right click it, come down to more, then slide over and pin to taskbar. And if you watch, it'll come right down here on the taskbar. So I'm going to say pin to taskbar. There it is. Okay. And if it is there and decide you don't want it on your taskbar, all you have to do is come down here, right click on it, and say unpin from taskbar, and then it's gone. If you come back over to the left, to the window, to your start menu here, you click on it, it runs off the taskbar, but it's a start menu here. In this column here, you see where you can power, turn it on, or actually shut it off. Settings, and we'll get into these in upcoming videos. But over here on these tiles that you have, I can make a couple more. I can say, I want to right click on calculator, I want to say pin to start, and I can go down the list and pin whatever I want over here. Sometimes it takes a lot of the space on the desktop, so if you want to remove all these, you won't be removing the program, just the little tile on this side. It'll still all be right here, listed in all your programs. So let's say that I don't want this up here, these in the, I want to clear out these, right click, and I can go to more, and I can just pin it to my taskbar. If I say pin to taskbar, it's down on my taskbar. Okay, if that was Excel, if let's say I want Word on my taskbar down here, whether it's over here in the list or it's a tile here, we'll do the same thing. I'm going to go here and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go to more and pin to taskbar. Now I have my Excel and my Word both right over here. I come up here and I want to get all these cleared out of here. Don't want to have two places, so I'm going to go ahead and right click, unpin, right click, unpin, right click, unpin. And you get the idea. Unpin, unpin, unpin from start, unpin from start, and I'm right clicking because that's my options. I'm right clicking, I say unpin from start, right click, unpin from start. Now all this area here is empty. Here's all my programs. So what I can do now is I can come over here to the edge and just go on that edge till I get an arrow going both directions. Then I can hold down the left mouse button and slide as far as it'll go over. Now I just have my start menu here off my taskbar. Okay, so that makes it relatively easy that way. Gives you more room, more space. And I can still come down here and click and still add things over there, or down to my taskbar. Okay, one last feature I want to show here. This is on your desktop, and this is your recycle bin. Let me move that up here. on your recycle bin, you can see that it has trash in it. To empty that, all I'm going to do is use my right mouse button for my options, and I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to go down to empty recycle bin. Click on it, tells you what I have in there, and I click yes, and now it's empty. And you can drag different things into the trash, but when you delete things, it will go to the trash. But let's say I have a file up here, and I'm just going to put that in the trash. I'm going to go ahead and take this file and put it in the trash. Okay, so those are in the trash. Now, I don't have to empty it in case, in the event of I see a file that I accidentally deleted that I really need back. So if you have your trash or recycle bin full, you can leave that for weeks at a time if you want without emptying it. Okay, once you empty that, you can't get any of that stuff back. So let's say, for example, I didn't want to delete those. So even though I did it a week ago, let's assume, I go right back over here to the recycle bin, but rather than right click, I'm going to left click, which is an icon, so we want to double left click. Okay, here it opens up and it shows what I have in here, and I'll say, oh my, I want this computer repair back. All you have to do is double click on it, which is left. Once you do that, come right down here towards the bottom, and you'll see a restore button. Just click restore, and it will put it right back exactly where it was. Okay, and you can notice that it's not no longer in my recycle bin or my trash. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to click on it and double click rapid, and I'm going to come down here again to my restore button. I'm going to click on restore, and it restored it back. There it is up here, and you'll see that the recycle bin is empty. Okay, so that's kind of safety if you ever do, but that's anywhere. If you were up on a certain page that you had open and you deleted something, it'll go right back to wherever you deleted it from. So that makes it nice. Now, there's many browsers out there, and a browser is actually a gateway or a highway to the internet. It's how you get access to the internet. People get confused, but a browser, whether it be Google, Microsoft Edge, Firefox, Opera, whatever it would be, that's just your gateway to the internet, and they are all customizable. So, for in other words, let's say I want Google Chrome, double click on Google, and I can customize this. Okay, to get these down here, I can have links up here, and on these top 3 buttons up here, this one happens to be vertical. In Microsoft Edge, they're same dots, but they're horizontal. So if you click on that, then you can see you have the option to go to your history, your bookmarks, your settings, which you can customize, your appearance, and so forth. All right. We'll touch more on this on the second volume of Getting Around in Windows 10. Okay, but same thing with this Microsoft Edge. I can double click, bring that browser up, and this is very customizable. You can have your own icons up here. Got a button here where you can have it focus, for example. Then you have your icons. You can have it instrumental right here. It gives you a nice background and your icons, and you can still scroll down to see all the news and that sort of thing. You can also go informational, which shows the items here and half the screen and all your icons here. So go through there. It's very customizable. If I had an icon up here that I didn't want, and all I have to do is put my mouse cursor on that icon, I can just go up to these three dots here, left click those three dots, and then come down here. They either have rename or remove. I want to remove it. Then it comes down here, are you sure, whatever, undo. I can undo it or whatever. I'll just say nah, I'm going to X, I want it off of there. I don't want this one on there, so I'll come up here to the three dots with the mouse cursor, left click, click remove, and then the X down here, and it's gone. If I want to add one, for example, up here that I don't have, I go to this plus. All I have to do is left click on it, and in the name we got to call it. So let's say I want Google. So all I'm going to do is just title it Google. Now the URL is the address of the website, which is www.google.com. And then I can just use add, and there's my Google. And then if I click on that, I go right to my Google. Then I can go my back arrow, or I'll just hit this little house button and I can go back. Okay, to the home page. So let's say, bring this up again, Microsoft Edge, and let's say that I want to add a site, but I don't know the address or the URL. Okay, I can search this and say let's say Walmart. I can enter, and here it shows, here's the Walmart site right here. So if I click on that site and I'm there, I have the URL right there. So all I do is just left click to highlight it, right click, come down here and left click copy. Okay, and this is in Microsoft Edge. So with these icons now, I can go here and click on the add, put in Walmart, and I have the URL. So I'm just gonna click in there, left click, and then I'm gonna right click, and then I'm gonna come down and click paste. The URL is already there. I'll click add, then if I want to go to Walmart, there it is. So even if you don't know it, you can still look and search it and put it in there. Alright, so let me go ahead and, I don't want this, I'll go up to the dots, click on them, remove that. And this is volume 1 or part 1 of the getting around in Windows. We happen to cover most of the taskbar, and then we'll cover the other stuff on the next video coming up. So let me go ahead and just close this to show you this here. Whenever you shut down Windows 10, You want to come here to the left bottom corner on this icon, which is your start menu off the taskbar. Click it, and you go to your power. You click on the power button, that's one up from it, and then your options are to restart or shut down. Okay, that's the best way to shut it down. If you leave yours on most of the time, days at a time, it's always nice. What you want to do is, if you leave it on all the time, is come up to the start every 3 days maybe and just click on restart. It doesn't shut it down, it just allows it to restart itself, replenish itself in the memory, and any updates or anything you would have, then it can install them at that time. So that makes it nice. And we'll cover updates in an upcoming video. This will conclude our Windows 10 taskbar volume 1, getting around in Windows 10. Hope that you enjoyed it. If there's something in this video that made it easier for you to get around in Windows 10, give me a likes up or a thumbs down, and that'll help me to produce even better videos in the future. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, would love you to be a part of our video family. Just give a click on the subscribe button, the lower part of your screen, and then that'll generate also a little bell icon. You click on that bell icon so that you will be notified of upcoming videos. Again, thank you. Happy surfing.